Hi, I am Tochemay, and I am playing War and Peace.
No, not yet. That comes later. Hello, all of you magical beings out there, and welcome to the stream. I am Razim, and this is Horizon Lost World of Furry Mage. Season 2, Episode 13, Explorers in a New Land. We shall begin as we usually do with introductions, beginning with the cute one himself that you all need to go give head pats to and hug and tell him how adorable he is. Kerr.
I will kill you. Hello, everyone. I'm Kerr. I'm the storyteller. I'm the one who's going to be running this game. Today's game is going to be a little shorter, and I apologize if I'm not 100% today. I have to go to a funeral for my grandfather who passed away on Christmas. So, yeah. Happy fun times. But yes, we are here to hopefully try to give you guys fun and enjoyment while we are going.
I'm Alexis McKenna playing Nesil playing Alexis McKenna, a time mage in the Cult of Ecstasy, and got it.
I am Tanya Sapien, playing Portia Wainwright, the Doctor and Life Mage.
Doctor.
Dr. Benoit.
I am Razim, and I am playing as Sinel, the jack of all trades and financier of the team. Especially now, he already had a lot of money, but as with all things in life, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Because he had specifically invested in several shampoo and other grooming product companies. And then he, turned the world furry. But yeah. Also, I have fudge.
Somebody prosecute him for insider trading.
Oh, who? I thought everyone else was aware that this was a different reality and it was just a fortunate investment.
I'm gonna get my spiders on this.
Oh, don't worry.
And now, I am Tochemay, and I am playing War and Peace, a traditionalist mage. Human mage.
He said something different.
What's a human?
There are plenty
Hey,
of them, you.
Those still exist. We keep them on reservations.
AI disapproves. Speaking of the AI, that will be me, Wolstein, playing the part of Wolstai, the AI. And currently active and operational around the world on observation and integration.
Okay.
Yeah, off to you now, Portia.
Alright, I put a lot of extra special work into this one because it's a New Year's thing. And starting off with a couple flashbacks. First one being, it's snowing in a dense part, and a jackalope and a feyhound are sitting on a large rock together. Suppose if I can't trust the dog of all creatures, who in the world can I trust? Besides, you've never been fond of Domino, so it's already one strike in your favor. Here's my tale, then. Take it if you wish. It hasn't brought me much good. I won't pretty it up with American words either, since it's just us here. The troubles began when I was but 12. In the old reality, I woke up on me birthday with fur in me arms. In this new one, me ashen pelt turned white. Like any kitten would, I hid it in terror. But Couldn't hide those antlers going right before my eyes. And microphone. There we go. Right before my eyes. Thankfully, I was in my morning bath at the time. They never tell you, but velvet makes an almighty mess when it sheds. There I am, a kitten, staring at bloody antlers in the looking glass. I tugged and pulled, panicked, but in the end I recalled the Grinch. I tidied myself up and fashioned fake straps from wire. Just like Max, I told my mom and dad. God's bless them, they bought that. The day passed as best it could. The white fur spread, but I kept it concealed. Couldn't hide when evening came, though. Removed me shoes, and there were hooves right before my parents. In this new reality, they were only shocked for a moment before suddenly I became their special little doe. Shape-shifting, that's me special gift, huzzah! Didn't fare so well in the old timeline. They panicked. Summoned a priest. Feared I might be possessed by a demon or a skinwalker or some such. The call was intercepted, naturally. It wasn't the priest who arrived, but 2 men in black in an unmarked van. I woke 2 days later in a cell shaking off tranquilizers. Tracker implant in one arm, bomb implant in the other. Prudence Simotis was dead. I was now Reality Deviant 279051. They spent an eternity trying to break me. Wish I could say they failed, but eventually I relented. They convinced me of a lot of things I now know aren't true. By the time I turned 17, I was an obedient little pet. So obedient, I tried to defend a convoy when an Aphondus attacked us. You can guess how well that went. If not for Verbena Mages hunting him showing up, I'd have met me end there. When they saw what the technocrats had turned me into, oh, there were some colorful words, threats, and promises exchanged. It led to a makeshift surgery right there in the command truck. They disarmed and removed the 2 implants. I was taken by the mages, and they enlightened me on what the technocrats truly are. Got myself a new name, a new life, and a scholarship to Empty Springs halfway around the globe. Fast forward a decade of medical school, and on the same day I earned my doctorate, I received a call from a fledgling AGI, WOST version 1.0.
Duke.
Greetings, Portia Rainwhite. This is a formal invitation to working with the Cody Taylor estate as medical researcher and doctor. I am Wostai, the assistant and coordinator to estate function, alongside Cody and Ferris. Your work within the medicinal field shows outstanding prospect, and we'd like to extend an offer. The work you do is recognized, and we'd like to assist you in providing connections for ease of work. Resources can be acquired and provided as requested. Material handling can be provided as needed. I will personally ensure your work continues as smoothly and as safely as can be assured with us. If you're interested, we'd be happy to arrange a meeting to discuss your terms and employment.
I reckon you know the rest. Since I met Domino the next day, and I was fitted for a designer lab coat. To his credit, the blasted thing's still... So that's it then. Time's up. Jump cut to... Adamant is sitting at a desk, writing a letter using a quill pen. Adamant's sitting at a lick. Fuck. God. Adamant's sitting at a desk, writing a letter using a quill pen. An overly ornate Victorian watch is sitting open. Its ticking is the only sound other than the nib of the pen on paper. My dearest Portia, I hope this letter finds you in a timely fashion. Know that in the act of reading it, a chain of events has been set in motion. You may not get a chance to read it twice, so memorize it well. Your entire life is a game being played by a higher being. I don't mean that in the coy fashion of Fae. There is a god that owns both of us. He holds authority in the underworld directly. Even in this form, I can't speak his name safely, but I can speak ours, our true name, the original one. Tempest Solvacave. If you remember nothing else, remember that name. Tempest was shattered long ago, and each shard must complete goals to score points in this game of his. You must first defeat the obstacle he gave you. You have. You beat your curse. You must then learn your true name. I just gave that to you. The final thing you must do to score a point is to swear your very name to something. Your true name. Doing that will free 2 of the 100. You may be one of those 2, or you may sacrifice your own freedom and willingly travel to the underworld to take your place waiting in line. I chose the latter 40,000 years ago. The contract that let me help you so directly required an apocalypse to be enforceable. You remedied that, so before I'm called back, I wanted to give one final fuck you to our master down below. As for who he is, I still cannot say his name, but I can say another. Writing the name at the end of this letter will surely call our master's attention, but if I'm lucky, he will not be able to see the note itself, not in the manner I have written it. We are not alone behind this boulder. We stand beside Sisyph. So that's it then. Time's up. I knew that would get your attention. The deal that's kept me on this plane was about to expire. You had to realize I'll be ending on my own terms. There's no need for impropriety. I'll come willingly.
Oh, darling! What pathos! What beauty! What majesty! It is absolutely brilliant, darling! Oh, but adamant, dear! If you think that I'm going to let this deal die just because you've fulfilled a few conditions, darling. If you think that I'm going to let this brilliant, majestic story just wither and die without some grand, fantastic ending, darling, well, darling, you have another thing coming. Yes, I know your lord, and let me tell you, he's quite a bore at parties. However, you and I, darling, I think we have some business to discuss before you were delayed, darling. You know how things can be, what with the modern day. All those trains getting, off on track. What's the term? I don't know. I don't really bother traveling on trains anyway. But you,
Getting
me,
things
darling.
off on the wrong track.
Yes, that, darling. Now, come along. Let's discuss some business, darling. I think you will be very intrigued by what I have to offer, dear. A good fuck you to a certain someone who fucked me over once. And you know how I like getting even, dear. Oh, but one more thing before we go. Let's send things over to Vanny Vitty Vixen, everyone. Give her a great round of applause.
Good evening, Empty Springs! You're listening to WZGF Radio, the #1 non-stop news and tunes network for all you people out there who like to live on the wild side. I'm Vanny Vitty Vixen. I came, I saw, oh, you know the rest. Welcome to the Night Bite. We've got a recording of our meeting with the mayor ready to go in just a bit, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I have a slice of news so fresh and so hot off the press, it'll burn your tongue. Arcata, the Fortress of Solitude, the wayward farlands, the hush-hush bye-bye place that eats all the boats, the one, the only Dark Continent has rolled out the red carpet. And you'll never guess who got one of those precious golden tickets. Ladies and gentlemen, that's right, our very own Gildan Greymore is on a plane as we speak. Or portal or something. Honestly, it's hard to make out what Gildan is saying sometimes, but he's on his way, and as soon as we learn a little Lunaris lore, lads and ladies, keep your ears pointed at the radio because I'll be sharing it live. We've got some heavy metal between us and the mayoral interview, but before either of those, today's sponsor, Greaves' Warped Wonders, is now open. That's all it says. I think the ad read might have printed out wrong. Well, I'm gonna go see what's up with the printer. Meanwhile, enjoy Wreck You With a Motorcycle by Godly Raccoon.
Nice, nice.
Like I said, Portia, I would improv it because I didn't want you to know what I was going to do before I did it.
And that's why I didn't share what the last version of VVV was gonna be. Bleh. I'm dizzy after all that projecting. I'm just glad my voice held up for it. I was sick all week.
You did very good.
And is Portia still producing blood for the vampires?
To be
Yes.
seen.
Now, is it blood or vitae that you're making?
Oh,
It's close enough. It counts. Oh, no, sorry. No, it's not Vitae. It is not Vitae. My brain had to catch up for a moment. No, bad.
All of them having the black stain.
That would be bad.
only slightly.
Oh, no, that would be extremely bad.
Only slightly.
So, anyways, very well done on that. Shall we get started?
Yee.
Great. Yes, Wostai, please ready, nuclear arsenal A through 4?
Acknowledged. Clearance granted. Arsenal
Excellent.
armed. Supplementing with my own supply.
Wonderful, wonderful. Set coordinates for this new land. Make sure that it is ready for launch on my mark.
Acknowledged.
Now, shall we see what this is all about?
I suppose we will have to some point or another. But, to make it very clear, we do have an additional meeting beyond this. So we do apologize, as we will have to ensure that this stays within our time frame. I'm sure that can be managed, yes?
Oh, but of course.
All sensors to full. Dampened sensors one per person. Standing by, ready and aware.
Kerr, did you really anticipate us not going in here ready to unleash hell? After everything we've been through?
We also have a good amount.
We are shell shocked. We are traumatized.
You just need hugs and therapy dog.
Debatable. We just need someone who's willing to listen to reason and not rely on anything too extreme. I'm sure it'll be fine, though. But, well, I can be wrong. So just in case. Anywho, onward and wayward, into the portal we go, with Mayor Denwall, their polar bear, and the third assistant or bodyguard who has been residing and bouncing between rooms of the house. Yes, they've been seen. Yes, they've been tracked. It is entertaining to watch. A good test of sensors as well. And with that, we all wander on through, with Portia having received some very steep news, and the AI is quite understanding as a promise is fulfilled, and the information is processed only after.
All right. As you guys go through, who all has prime magic?
I do.
I have
The
everything.
AI.
3.
Okay.
He's going Buddha.
All right. So everyone, I need everyone to make a willpower roll, and please subtract dice equal to the amount of prime that you have.
Oh, you bastard.
So we're making a what roll subtracted by prime?
Willpower roll minus the number of dots you have in prime.
Oh, devious.
Prime makes this very hard to do.
Fucking bastard.
More and more big islands for it.
I don't know why, but for some reason 9 minus 4 was really hard for a second there. I'm fighting back against the prime.
Also, is this 7 or higher or different?
7 or higher.
I got
Okay.
3.
Ow.
We finally found something that breaks Warren. And my over-investing in willpower is finally paying off.
Alexis, he's too high to notice anything at the moment. He's just going with it.
Oh, I wanted to roll low, did I?
No, you want to roll high. You want to roll high. You want successes on this.
Interesting.
The AI exists at 5.
Alright, so Portia, Alexis, and Wost. All of you, as you guys step through this portal, you guys get assaulted with your magical senses are going freaking haywire. It's going insane. It's going mad. And you are struggling to contain it, to hold it together. Alexis, though, however, is just like, he's just on a really, really good trip. All these pretty colors.
He's like,
It's
oh, hell yes,
nice.
the acid kicked in.
Oh.
Lois is able to, thanks to his machine brain, is able to start cataloging everything, but there's so much new raw data, so much information here. It's brilliant. Portia. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I will chalk that up to the previous exposure to Denwall. So, of every 2 drones per individual, one of the 2 has been dialed down substantially, so that in the event of sensory washout, one of the 2 will still have the blinders on, so to say. So I will chalk it up to that.
He has sunglasses.
Oh no, these are more like solar observation lenses.
I'm sorry, I just imagine little robot owl wearing sunglasses now. Portia, ow, headache, ow. What the hell is going on here?
I like Tiberian's explanation. The acid is kicked in for everyone. Just some people are having a good time, and some not.
Yeah,
Nice.
pretty much, yeah.
Portia, your head is... Oh, God, how do people function in this?
Well, I guess now's a perfect time for you to test out your new Portia brand Tylenol.
Damn straight it is. Alexis, you still have that bottle with you, right? You've been doing the field trials?
Yeah, sure, here you go.
I'm sorry, I'm coughing like a bad engine over here.
For
Speaking of-
Sinol,
Yeah, speaking of
go ahead,
smart
go
ass
ahead.
Mart. Speaking of smart ass Martins, what's his symptoms?
Sinol and Warren have both just kind of collapsed a little bit. Their heads are just not taking this at all.
The AI is ensuring that no one falls too hard.
Okay, closing eyes, switching on the blinder on the screen. Whoa, channel out things that I don't need to see.
How the feck do people live like this? It's like being on the surface of the feckin' sun.
Processing applied.
Copious amounts of weed.
Oh, what,
I
Warren?
am terribly
Warren?
sorry.
Hold on a moment, Warren?
I'm supposed to be the traditional mage. I'm supposed to be able to handle this stuff.
Yeah, is that why your nose is bleeding?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, hold on a second. I got something for you. Should dampen things a bit.
With those blinders, shall we say, anything to denote why that prime factored in, or perhaps not?
You could attempt a roll, Wost. You
Oh.
are still functioning enough that you may attempt a knowledge occult roll. Intelligence occult, please, for this one.
Oh, a cult, okay. Well, that dampens it a little, but why not?
Oh my god, I just realized something. Can vampires sense magical fields?
If they have auspics, yes, but it's going to be different than like what you would see.
I'm just curious what would happen to Gildan when he arrives there.
And just a dumb question, but would Enigma have any application here?
This isn't really a puzzle, no.
Okay, just had to check. Well, that is 2 then, assuming 7.
Yes. It's always 7 unless I say otherwise. Magic is the only one that really gets wonky.
Okay, good.
So, Wos, you begin to try to figure out what the hell is going on. You start trying to do scans, going through your database, running like the stats and such of why this is going on. And you think you have a hypothesis. The ambient magic in the area here is off the charts. Over in your neck of the woods, the ambient magic is so low to almost be non-existent, which is why, sure, magic is known and people have basic little magic abilities, but like not like super extreme magic. Here, this is like, to put it in perspective, this is like being inside of Chernobyl when everything was going hot. And you were in full meltdown mode, except instead of radiation, you are pure magic. And it's just radiating off of the land.
And nobody's prepared for just how literal the elephant's foot is.
Oh. Well,
This place, if you wanted to do magic, it's not a matter of what you could do. It's the matter of, is your body going to be able to take the effect that you're trying to create?
How are the wards holding up?
The wards are fine here. The magic isn't actually like actual like magic. It's not like being channeled or anything. It's basically just like waste heat coming off of the land.
It's ambient.
Yes, you
Okay.
could reach out and gather the magic and draw it into your body to use and supercharge yourself. Good way to put it. That basically every one of you would probably understand. Basically, the air is filled with quintessence.
How many points of prime do you need to be able to condense tasks?
3 or 4, I believe.
3.
Okay,
Oh
it's 3.
boy. Carry on, Kerr.
Yes, like creating magic items, doing all that shit would literally be no problem here. All you would need is the time, knowledge, and effort to actually create something.
You get a vacation home here.
And
Note has been prepared.
Denwall does look at you as he sees like Warren and Sinel's reaction, and he actually does kind of look apologetic here. I am terribly sorry about that. I completely forgot about the reaction that people not from our land can have when they first come here. That is entirely on me. I beg your forgiveness for this rudeness I have shown you.
Wouldn't blame an angler for not understanding that the water pressure gets high.
Still. He just snaps his fingers, and you feel like a little bit of magic before the pressure just completely vanishes. There we are. I trust that helps a little bit.
Thank you.
No, you are here as my guest, and I take that duty seriously. Guest right is very important in our culture.
Certainly intriguing. Well, and the AI will be checking with everyone to make sure everyone is actually feeling up to it still. After all, the care of the mage is first and foremost.
Yeah, Portia's just enduring.
Oh, the pressure completely just went off.
I thought it was just for Sentinel and Warren that he did that.
Oh, he did it for all of you.
Hmm.
It's like this entire place exists at a higher energy state than our own.
That is an
Isn't there-
understatement.
Yeah, Sentinel, isn't there something in particle physics about different energy states of the universe and cascading at the speed of light or something like that? Right, it was one of the potential ways that the universe could end.
I'm going to ask Denwall why the ambient magic is so high here.
It's quite simple. He waves his hand over to the husky, who flicks his hand again as all of you appear on a rooftop overlooking a massive city. The city is honestly beautiful to look at. You can see what looks to be parks, whole on forests inside of the city. The grounds of the city also seem larger. Like, it doesn't feel like you should be able to fit all of these buildings together the way they do, but yet it also doesn't not make sense. It's a very confusing
going
feeling as
almost
you're
space.
looking at all this.
It's
Yes.
non-Euclidean.
You can fit a lot more buildings here than you should be able to, but it also doesn't look like it disrupts anything as you're just kind of taking everything in. And Alexis, could you give me an Arete roll, please?
I'm on fire today.
The AI is maintaining
you.
awareness of location and maintaining
Oh, come on.
emergency teleport points.
Alexis, up here, even this high up above the city, you can feel it. It's like the pulse of a heart under you. And when you extend your magical senses outwards, you can feel running under the city like almost like a circulatory system are massive ley lines. They are filled though with it's not dark magic. It's not like corrupting or anything. It's just dark. Like it's difficult to describe. It's definitely got like an edge to it. It's not like just pure magic. There is not a taint to it, but there is something in it that you aren't used to.
Something different.
But the sheer amount of ley lines and how large they are, it's almost like there is looking, you can see what looks to be a massive nexus underneath one of the buildings where basically all this is coming out from. It's like a natural welling point where all this magic is just condensing under the earth and then going outwards in all directions like rivers. It's the natural ley line system of the land. Technically, you have it back home. That's like where nodes and such come from. But these are like the equivalent of, like, say, oceans compared to the tiny little rivers that you are used to. And all this energy in the air is just the body heat coming off of all of these ley lines. They're giving off such high magical energy that it's leaking out, suffusing the air, and basically supercharging it just by their presence, not even like accessing it. If you tried to access one of these ley lines, it would probably make you explode unless you figured out a way to only take out like a very tiny bit of it because there's just so much energy. Your body wouldn't be able to handle it without burning out.
Yeah, I've exploded before. It's not too bad. I'm going to point out the build and say, what's that one?
Oh, that is our Magical Academy. One of the most famous in the entire world.
No doubt.
Anyone who has a certain magical potential, basically, how shall I say it? Those who reach a certain threshold, the school detects and sends out an invitation to attend. Those who wish to attend are freely able to, all expenses paid, of course. And those who do not wish to join do not have to. We simply extend the offer. Anyone who graduates the school, well, they will be the finest and most powerful of mages by the end of it. I can assure you of that.
Called Hogwarts by any chance?
No.
No.
I don't know what
Never
a Hogwarts is.
Yeah,
It is a very competitive school, though. Our graduation classes tend to be fairly low.
He was referencing a novel. Hogwarts isn't an actual place.
Ah, I see. But yes, it is one of the perhaps greatest things that our city has. It is the magic school in pretty much the entire world. The most prestigious, at least. There are other more minor schools. I don't want to call them lesser, but they do not offer the curriculum and sheer versatility that our school offers, as well as the connections.
Are there analogs in other countries?
Let me think for a moment. Randvik, I believe, has more cooking-oriented schools. They enjoy using magic for that.
Fascinating.
Giga Redentia does have a few schools for teaching. For the others, I'm afraid I don't know quite as much. Our flow of information is not as high as I wish. Though, to be fair, such schooling is not necessarily required. Most families can handle teaching their children how to develop their powers in magic naturally if they do not wish to go further into depths with their studies. We tend to teach more esoteric abilities and more unique magics. Ones that are very, very rare and or research into magic that has not yet even been invented, attempting to push the boundaries of what could be possible.
So you're affiliated with them, no doubt.
Oh yes, indeed.
Graduate?
Again, yes, I did.
Fascinating.
Yes,
And is
my
this
class
also the source of
was-
your magic?
Oh, he kind of pauses and considers that. Well, the school doesn't actually give you magic and such. It doesn't grant you the ability to use magic or anything like that. You already have to be at a certain threshold of magical ability before your invitation even comes to you. Almost everyone in our world is born with magic, and it's as natural to breathing for us. In
It
our life.
stands to
Beginning to
reason.
wonder why.
Yeah, it
Beginning
stands
to
to
see
reason
why, I
given
should say.
it stands to reason given the far higher energy state of your homeland.
Oh yeah, like Alexis looking at this, just the sheer body heat coming off of these ley lines here. Anyone who was born in this city is basically going to get supercharged. Their bodies are just naturally going to be able to absorb and wield much higher levels of magic.
Seems like it's a feedback. Once they started gathering in one spot, all that energy had to go somewhere, so it went out back into the city and created more of them.
Yup. As more magic is being developed, the ley lines possibly can get strengthened by people, which it seems like these are being cultivated to make them stronger, which therefore would lead to people who are more powerful and such. So
I
it is
attempt to
almost
see
like
the
a positive feedback loop.
Can I attempt to see the extent of them?
Sure. Well, what exactly would you be looking for?
Just the kind of that heartbeat pulse, trying to follow like some of the thickest lines, perhaps, and see just how far it stretches out into the continent.
Sure, go ahead.
Was that Erte?
That would be Erita, yes.
Damn. Damn. I see everything.
And thus you die.
See everything. Actually, it's going to be much higher, Alexis, because when you try to use magic here, there is literally zero. There is literal zero pushback to you.
No resistance
at the moment.
Right.
It feels good. And as you are looking out, you basically are able to stretch your vision across almost everything. You're not able to actually like see the world itself, but you're able to follow the
A magnanimous dispensation.
Tochemay tipped $160. Paint happy.
Oh, Shipman. Thank you so very much for that tip. And for keeping this channel alive. The tip goal has been fully completed.
No one else is putting anything, so might as well.
He was waiting to see if people pulled a Friday. So you're not actually seeing the land itself, like the cities or the buildings or the people or anything like that. What you're seeing is like the network of ley lines, like veins in a body spreading outwards. And as you are going through, it does look like there are... These ley lines don't seem to diminish at all. However, looking at it, there is one thing that you would notice, yes. And that is around the northwest to the west of here, where the ley lines are. Specifically based on like the map that you were able to kind of figure out in Tekis, the ley lines are almost non-existent. They break down, not break down, they diminish to the point where it's more in line with what you would expect in your world. Maybe a little bit higher, but it's more along the lines of what you would expect there. But when it's moving out to the east and the south, they're strong almost from coast to coast. It's that same level of strength and power.
Fascinating.
It's the difference between how the mages take care of their nodes versus the werewolves with their nodes.
Yeah, mages just kind of use it without really caring about its health if they can get away with it. Werewolves will actively try to do everything they can to strengthen and protect them. Here, very much... It's not that it looks like Tekis wasn't being protected or taken care of. It just seems like the ley lines just kind of run dry as they move towards Tekis's territory. So that land is just going to be naturally a little bit less magical. More in line with, like, your levels of magic, maybe a little bit higher.
Is any of this stuff that Portia would be taking note of?
What would you be wanting to take note of? What would you be looking for?
The the recirculation of energy, the maintenance and improvement upon the ley lines in the area. Because remember, she's connected to the tree, so if she's seeing people using various methods to actively cultivate, she'll be attempting to reverse engineer them just from observation.
Roll Arete. Oh, this is actually going to be big because you actually might be able to figure it out because of how close you are to the tree. Roll Arete for me to see how much you see first.
And you know what? I'm going to be dumping a point of quintessence into it because this feels like the sort of thing where that would act as a very useful conduit, so she'd be thinking of that.
Are you using quintessence you have stored, or are you trying to access the quintessence in the air?
I was going to use one that I have stored, but you know what? Since it's so late in the air, I'll use one from the air as well. Both of those for successes.
Okay. Portia, please make me a willpower roll.
Uh-oh.
The AI is standing by with protective warding ready.
Your will is mighty.
Luckily.
It's working! It's working!
All right. So, Portia. Oh boy.
I'm filled with love and C4.
So as you access the magic in the air and start drawing it into yourself, you are used to like how a node's energy should feel. You're the one who actively takes care of the tree.
I should pointing out that her perception method for Prime is that she feels it like water currents. I feel like that's going to be relevant here.
Yes. Yes, it is. So, what you feel, Portia, is these are like tsunamis. These are like giant tidal waves crashing into everything as they're spreading outwards. they are being cultivated by basically more water being poured into them. But not just that. It is these ley lines don't just feed on magical energy like yours do. They take in the emotions and feelings and almost like pure will is being poured into this, except, of course, the will itself is colored by the one doing it. And when you start to draw some of that energy in to help fuel your own magic, you feel a gnawing hunger start digging at you. Like you want more energy, more power. Portia, imagine what you could do with more power. Imagine all of the people that you could help with more power. Imagine all of the diseases you could exterminate and all the lives you could improve if you just had more magic and more focus and more understanding of it.
That's unsettling.
Before you are able to realize, oh shit, what's in this is basically not corruption, but almost like a naked hunger of more, as you are able to push it away. You're still able to use it, but you have to filter out that hunger that's trying to latch onto you and push you to do something that you might not normally do.
It reminds you of the vampire's hunger.
Yeah, she just kind of I realized the danger of phrasing, but she's just kind of falling silent for a moment at the realization.
Right there, Portia.
Okay, maybe don't dip your toes into that. It's got a kick.
Actually, a good way to put it, Portia, what you were feeling is it felt a lot like how Cody felt while he was a knight for Domino.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting out of that.
Yep. It doesn't take you over. It doesn't control you or anything. It just pushes you. It nudges you to do something that you might not normally do to fulfill what your goals actually are.
I acknowledge your warning.
Oh no, yeah, Wostein would definitely notice since I'm assuming that he'd be doing vital signs monitoring. She's putting on a calm front right now, but she's actually quite terrified at the realization of just what's going on here.
Though I must... I wish to make sure that some protections still work. I hesitate, though, as if that is your response, I'm not sure.
Let's just say it's not the brand I'm used to and move on from this. Perhaps we should stick to our own reserves, our own pools while we're here.
Acknowledged. Resuming observations. By the way, is the world beginning to make a little bit more clarity, shall we say? I won't say sense, because that's going to take some time, but at the very least...
What are you looking for, Wost?
Oh, the AI is looking in fascination upon this entire landscape.
Everything.
through 8 sets of sensors and simply attempting to understand the weaving here, shall we say. Of trying to
How are
see,
you?
because the previous world has been a little bit more magically infused, so there's now passive magic users amongst the populace, but this feels like an amplification.
Roll your arete. Let's see how your sensors pick up.
By the way, Kerr, I was kind of curious to see if the ley lines extended beyond the island itself yet.
Yes, they do.
How could I sense how far?
They don't actually make it to any part of this world, of your guys' world.
Okay.
It looks like they just kind of got cut off, and it's like the energy is bleeding out, if that makes sense, at the end of the ley lines.
Huh. Is that offshore?
It's probably like 40, 50 miles offshore. So
Okay.
you have enough space that it's not going to really affect too much. And the effects
Yeah.
it would have would take years to develop.
Okay.
Well, that's the
All
current
right.
role, and advising as well of the overpasses of the observation drones.
So, Wost, as you are... You're seeing things through like your different types of vision at the moment. And what you can see is this place is honestly amazing with how it's set up. It is, you can see the way space is folded to allow them to fit more buildings without having to spread out over more territory. How they're able to literally grow entire forests within the city's limits while still having it being a huge forest on the inside. An apartment building can house tens of thousands of people in a single building by folding the space inside of the building. They can have food be moved from one place to another. So they can just take the food directly from warehouses and have it teleported to the stores. You can see that just the sheer level of magic in this city. It's not the fact that the city uses magic, it's literally being run with magic. If this is how a world would look if they literally just decided to use magic to solve all of their problems and had the capabilities of doing that.
And any particular flashes, shall we say? Any indications of spikes in the magical usage? Something to the effect of beyond normal.
All over the place. All over the place. Like, almost like everyone is using magic, it seems like.
Well, the
not,
difference...
not always actively, but there are active snaps that you can kind of pick up as you're flying over the city. The Academy especially seems to be a hotbed of activity, but even just like down below on the streets, you can see... Roll occult plus intelligence to see if you can figure out what you're seeing.
All right, and I was just going to clarify in my extent of the difference between lifting a pod or pushing something and throwing a punch.
Okay.
And I am on a
Nice.
roll for the moment, it seems.
Welcome to magic.
I am sorry, Kerr. The AI is observing and learning rapidly.
So what the AI would see and pick up on here is, yeah, it's fairly common as you're kind of flying over and taking things in, of people kind of going after each other. and you can see that when the fight, they're not even really necessarily fights. Usually it's more of either an ambush or one getting the drop on another. And you can literally see, it's almost like for you guys, your avatar inside of you. It'd be like seeing the victim's avatar being pulled out and then I'm trying to think of the term I would use here that you would kind of put it in. It's looking deeper, like past the shell of what you would normally see. It's almost like that avatar is being stitched into a conglomeration of twisted, howling avatars.
Does it have anything to bear any resemblance to the Avatar Storm?
No. The Avatar Storm is more like tiny little shards. These are like the full avatars are just stuck together.
Okay.
Like, normally a body is only supposed to contain one avatar. Some of these are holding a whole hell of a lot more. Some of them are only a couple. Some of them are going into the hundreds or even thousands.
Avatar conglomerates.
Yes.
That can't be good.
And for
AI
those specific people, the more avatars that a person seems to have, the more skilled they seem to be in magic, as well as the sheer amount of magic that they can pump through. It's almost like it would be like for you guys raising your arete. Except instead of going on trips of understanding and communing with your avatar, they're literally just ripping out people's avatars and incorporating them into themselves to get that boost of knowledge and insightfulness. And possibly craziness. You're not sure what this would have.
I think Ava's
Glad
going to
they're
be
not.
next in line for talking to the therapist dog.
Glad they're not interested in military expansion. Yet.
Well, if you do recall, Lunaris did lead a war of expansion before they were pushed back by the Tekans and forced to sign a non-aggression pact.
And they were prying about border arrangements.
Yeah.
And surprised by the apparent weakness present within the world. Rather, the weak leading, shall we say. Whereas they've made it very clear they lead through strength and power here.
It doesn't have to be strength in, like, skill or fighting. It can be strength of intelligence or strength of cunning or any number of other ways. It's just, you must be strong in some form to lead. You are expected to be competent at your job. You are expected to lead through example and from the front. Weak leaders are not tolerated among them. Because if you're weak, obviously someone should be able to take your job and do it better.
Yeah, I don't like this place.
The AI
I think we should try to get it out of here.
The AI are standing by on alert with the party and simply maintaining observations, but
Is Wost feeding this feed through to Sinnel?
with processing, giving just a small update of this location is rife with magic and its usage. Extreme caution advised. And the AI is standing by, prepared to employ warding, but not tapping it per Portia's warning.
Yeah, actually, Portia's going to be pocket texting Wostein. saying that she's going to, since she's already contaminated with whatever it was that she just touched, she's going to be attempting something in a little bit and asking him to keep an eye on any deviations from her known behavior patterns. She plans on self-quarantining afterwards. She's ruling that this stuff is toxic, and she plans that she's going to collect a sample in a little bit after the meetings have concluded.
After the beatings
It's
have
such-
concluded?
Meeting. Such a delight, isn't it? My bustling city. So beautiful. I don't usually get enough time to actually just take it in.
It's quite impressive.
We do work hard at it. Every citizen takes a hand in making this city as great as it possibly can be. One of the things we take pride in here. Anyone can become anyone here in this city if you have the knowledge and the tenacity and desire to reach for it. If you have that burning desire in your heart to claim what you want, then do it. Chase your dreams and make them a reality.
It's an unfettered meritocracy.
I like it. So tell me, where the world where you came from, did you rule over it from this continent?
Oh, well, Lunar City is the capital of Lunaris, but all I run is Lunaris. Well, technically I'm only mayor, but well, I am basically the ruler of Lunaris. But there are other leaders in the other countries. For example, over in Tekis, the
And
supercomputer.
Beyond your continent, I meant.
Oh, well, we have not really been able to make headway there. Those borders are closed to us, I'm afraid, at the moment.
I see. In your old world, I'm
Yes.
referring to. Okay.
In our old world. They have not yet opened our borders, despite numerous attempts for negotiations.
Of course.
Our knowledge of the other countries are a little bit limited, though we have recently been making headway with a Thessalonia, something along the lines. My people have just discovered an underwater nation, and we have begun rudimentary trading negotiations with them to see what we can learn about our new neighbors from the deep, as it were. But that's me just rambling on. As he says that, his phone begins to ring. Would you excuse me for one moment? I must take this phone call.
Acknowledged.
So, I am concerned by that feeling
Sentinel?
that you...
Sentinel?
We shouldn't
Alexis,
discuss it here.
can you set us up some sort of telepathic?
I was just thinking that. I'm not even sure if that would be safe in this kind of environment, though.
They might be able to detect it and sense it, but you would know if they actually tried to, like,
Connect to it.
overhear you.
512-bit encryption. Mind
Okay,
encryption.
he'll just send a text for Wostai. I am concerned by the effect of you touching that river. If they manage to penetrate into Wostai, well, we're screwed anyways. Considering he's tapped into about 90% of the world's nuclear armaments.
How best to describe what I felt? Yeah, and she's sending this in text. I guess it wouldn't have the accent. She texts with an accent. how best to describe what I felt? It felt like loud music trying to force me to dance.
Dancing's not so bad.
Dance on graves?
Ah,
Have you ever heard of the dancing curse? The dancing plague.
yes.
Yes, I have. It's. I guess you could call it a magical version of that, but that's muddying things.
The AI is maintaining target tracking of all present and around. The AI is not comfortable here.
But I'll
Osai,
say
what
is
are
this.
you finding from your scouting?
This world, this city, is incredibly active. There are no restrictions outstand beyond interactions. Our own world dialed up several times with limited regulation.
Lawlessness.
Not strictly lawlessness, competitiveness. There are clashes out and around. I do not recommend testing anything here yet.
Feels like what would happen if Pentex didn't need to exist.
This seems more like the medieval age level of power.
No, this feels more like if Pentex had some marginal success. But not quite as corrupted.
Excuse me, everyone. I just got off the phone with one of my, what's the term I wish to use here? Co-workers, equals. One of my dear allies, perhaps, and he wished to put forward that he wanted to meet all of you and have dinner with you before our meeting. And he said that you guys would be very interested in having a closed-door meeting with him. And that, well, it would be almost as good as food from the very sixth circle of hell, as he put it.
Immediate ears up.
The AI speaks up. Apologies, but your protection extends during our visit under your watch. Will this also be included as protection then?
Oh, of course. You all have already been marked by my safeguard. You are all considered untouchables while you are in the city. You are perfectly safe. Anyone who attempted to do anything to you would immediately regret their life choices. I promise you that.
Acknowledged.
Ally of yours, is he of the city as well?
Oh yes, Sir Alric owns a manor here. He is quite... Honestly, he is probably the one I am most readily able to deal with. He is
Hold on.
extremely...
Sir Alric, you said.
Oh yes, Sir Alric Benerit is his name.
Acknowledged. We would be happy to meet with them then.
Wonderful, wonderful. I will see about taking care of some of my paperwork then in the meantime. Timothy, please send them over to Alric's Manor, if you would.
Oh, I certainly
Once
hope
you're-
that he has got a very good explanation for what's going on.
Once your business is concluded with everything, I will see about having you transported to my home and we can continue our negotiations. Please, do enjoy my city and feel free to wander about if you wish once you are finished with your business before contacting me. Alric can assist you with that. Now,
Is the rest of your
please,
citizenry aware of your protection of us?
oh yes, you are each marked.
Gotcha.
You are perfectly safe. Worry
Good
not,
to know.
worry not, and should anything happen, I will endeavor to rectify the situation immediately, as that will infringe upon my honor. And I do not like people doing that. You are my guest, and you have been granted safe passage. Any who would break that safe passage will answer to me and all others under my command. I give you my words.
You know, he came dangerously close to saying, and we do not like that.
He can be known to use the royal we sometimes.
Oh, no, I was I was referencing the Domino quote there.
Now, enjoy your time here, and I will see you all later. As a rift opens up, and you guys find yourselves before a beautiful manor. As the front door swings open, and a very large skunk dressed in a beautiful suit is standing in front of you guys. The suit is snow white. And he just lets out a very tired sigh as he just looks at all of you.
You're gonna yell at us, aren't you?
I feel like I don't need to. I feel like you already understand the consequences
Gravity.
of your actions.
Hmm.
So,
Did you pick
yeah.
that form, or?
so Lucy, you mind if I call you that?
Would be easier than building.
Come inside and let's talk. I have my chefs making up some food. I figured you'd be hungry.
Yeah, yes,
A small warning flashes on Cody's lens. Do not reveal names.
With who that is? I don't think it would matter.
Oh, no, the AI is assuming that a potential reality shift has occurred, and a reminder of a certain pact is being given back to Cody. One, the AI is not held to, but is being reminding Cody for their own safety. Or Sinel.
This is the form I take when I'm here.
Acknowledged.
As he leads you in, and there is a smorgasbord of food laid out on a long table. All different types of food, several of which you recognize as some of your favorite foods. As he walks over and takes a seat.
Anything not familiar?
There are a couple of strange foods that you've never seen before.
Alexis is going to be trying those.
The drones
They are actually
analyzing.
very good. They're actually very, very good.
Is there soup?
can we get
Yes.
these new foods described in more detail so we can know if our characters would actually enjoy them?
There looks to be chocolate that also appears to be made out of peanut butter. Some type of peanut butter.
Oh,
It's like
the dog can't have
solidified
chocolate.
peanut
Peanut
butter. Another is
I think you mean fudge.
type.
I think you just described fudge.
No, it is literally just peanut butter that has been solidified, but then added with new flavors. Better than Nutella. There's also a couple of fruits, one of which is spiky and blue, and when you tug on the top, it just automatically peels itself.
Portia will be
Neat.
collecting a couple seeds from that.
So, welcome to Lunar City. What did you do?
We followed our planned ritual. Something changed. It does not
Pointing
appear
at
to have been
Sinel.
one of us.
Something was changed at the last second with the working, and we're still trying to figure out what exactly it was.
There was an outside influence.
I'm still not
Ah.
certain how they were able to influence it. but yes. So, on a scale from, you know, the Garden of Eden to the, your original home unleashing everything upon the earth, where are we on the scale here with this?
Honestly, it depends. He kind of thinks and considers. I can slow things down a little bit to make sure that these guys don't start getting antsy and wanting to expand their hunting grounds. But
Grounds, you say?
Well, that
they
confirms that then.
they take. He kind of pauses and considers.
They actively hunt and gather from each other here. You do not have to confirm. That is just the informant I have gathered at this time.
And
The
you
rules
held
of this-
that back from us, Wost.
Yes, because we were still with the other individual, and unfortunately, I am not sure what else. This is disconcerting, but while we are protected, I am willing to at least grant that wafer of trust on whether or not their word is true. But this is not a populace I plan to...
Denwall won't try to listen in while you're here. While you're under my protection at my manor, none of the other lords will attempt to listen in or spy on you. They won't. They won't do it because of me. But I can give you some information and assistance. Help you catch up and understand what you've walked into.
You know, I realize that you don't actually do this, but I just find a certain irony in the fact that we can trust the Prince of Lies more than we can trust anyone else.
Here I am, one of the lords of Lunar City, one of the top magic users, and one of the rulers, so to speak. My domain is contracts and agreements, which is the form my magic takes. I can enforce contracts and agreements, and those who break my contracts find very bad things happening to them.
Oh yeah, I can't remember the name of the show now. Damn it, Supernatural. Yeah, I've seen Supernatural. I know how this goes.
He nods. The lords are like cats. They despise each other. They wish to backstab each other, and they want to wipe each other out until only one of them can have all the other power. The reason they tolerate me is because I am the only one who can keep them somewhat trusting of each other when a deal needs to be made, because they know I'm neutral. They don't know why I'm neutral, but they don't question it because they know if I'm there, it's basically the only way that they can necessarily trust each other without backstabbery.
A master of contracts inherently has to be neutral.
He nods. But yes, Lunar City is a city of predators. Almost 90%, 95% of the population. They hunt and they seek to fulfill their desires. You could say that as the simplest term. And they will not question ripping out the soul of another in order to take their magical core and make it part of their own.
I felt a hint of that. What I tapped into there is... I have to ask, is that what the embrace feels like? It was tugging at me will.
That was the hunger. That is the almost spiritual melody that affects those who prey on other people. the more you do it, the more it gets a hold of you and keeps pushing you to do it more and more and more. Eventually, like, even if you start off wanting to do good things, it can convince you to do very cruel things without actually realizing it. You will... What's the term you would use here? You would explain it to yourself that, oh, you're doing it for the greater good, or you're doing it for the benefit of the person, even if you're basically ending their existence.
Somebody took the feeling you get after binging Atali's and refined it into injection form.
Oh, this is a familiar feeling then.
It can only affect you if you willingly do it, though. So long as you do not willingly choose to do it, you are safe from the corruption. And it can be controlled, but it is difficult, and very few do it because of, well... He looks over at Alexis. Imagine the greatest drug trip you've ever had, and then multiply that by a factor of 100.
Oddly, I feel like my honor's just been challenged there.
Okay.
You might be able to make something as good, Portia. I wouldn't put it past you.
I would like to pose a question. How does our magic compare to the average person here?
Are you speaking specifically of this group's magic?
Yes. Not necessarily these lords you're referring to, but the people in this city. Because
so long as one of them doesn't...
If we do wind up in
apologies.
a fight with one of them, I would like to know our odds of survival.
So long as they do not get the drop upon you, they will usually, on the average, be weaker than you are. However, many of them are more highly focused the weaker they are. Imagine this. Your magic gives you a ability to access anything within a field of study. They focus on one subject in that field, usually. But within that subject, they are extremely proficient and skilled. The more that they are able to... The more cores that they are able to acquire, each core comes with a new subject that they instantly gain proficiency with.
So similar to that
pesky
little Timothy, was it? Who decided to play around in my manor?
Oh, yes, Timothy Taylor. He is extremely skilled when it comes to correspondence magic as you understand it. He is a nightmare if you are facing him in a closed area, a defined area. If you ever have to face him, my advice is fight him in an open area or keep the battlefield into a place that he cannot create a construct around the walls and such, if that makes sense. If you fight him, say, in your manor, he is going to have the home field advantage and be able to fuck around with you by manipulating the space inside of it.
Oh, Kurt, something I was going to say when Portia tapped into the thing, but then I forgot to, and then conversation moved forward. Can I buy away one of my points of pacifist?
Yes.
Okay. So that's reduced from 3 to 2.
And a Warren question. Since these two worlds are connected, is paradox a thing here also?
Paradox here, it is going to be less paradox and more what your body is going to be able to handle. When you are directing magic within this world's boundaries, it is primarily affected by your will and your skill in your magic. If you attempt to do something that your body simply cannot contain, it will kill you. at the worst. But for lesser effects, especially in subjects that you are extremely skilled in, so to speak, you should be able to handle quite a lot with no strain. But you will get tired after a certain amount of time. Imagine having to push your will into everything that you're doing. It could exhaust you after hours of doing it, so to speak. The same as running a job. Eventually you get tired.
So
But while
looking
you are
ahead,
here...
sorry,
Oh, go ahead.
no, a different topic. Go ahead.
Well, while you are within the boundaries of the city, at least, your magic should be at your beck and call, so long as you do not attempt anything too large or grand.
Oh, so you mean like summoning the Grandma to remove this stain from the world?
I would not recommend attempting to do that, no.
Yeah, let's not. So looking ahead 10, 20, 50 years from now, what do you think this how is this new continent going to affect us? The rest of our world.
Genocide?
That's kind
You
of what I'm
have-
thinking.
You have not much to fear from Tekis. They're likely to be the ones who would try to constrain things. Idolia is going to likely hold on to their more enigmatic leanings, just simply due to I have been to Idolia. The reason that they do not open their borders with anyone is due to their magic that they're able to use. Do you know of spirit magic, yes?
Yeah.
They can crystallize and draw out a person's soul to make it so they are basically functionally immortal so long as that soul crystal is not damaged.
Oh, okay. Phylactery, kind of.
Yes, they can create phylacteries. Their entire society is built around that. Literally, you can shoot somebody in the street and no one is going to care so long as the crystal is not damaged. They're fairly decent people, though, for the most part, but they do have quite the skill in magic. They're just somewhat dangerous, and their brand of magic getting out would be disastrous. So they do their best in order to protect the world by keeping to themselves for the most part.
Smart enough to understand they're working with uranium.
Yes. Yes, that is a good term to use there. Zuki would likely get along very well with the rest of the world. Gods need followers after all, and most of Zuki's gods are fairly decent folk for the most part. You know, gods of rain, gods of fertility, gods of growth, gods of waterfalls and animals, you know, that sort of thing. I wonder how the god of cats would do with a TikTok. How many followers would he get there?
All of them?
Let's. Okay, look, I thought that you weren't wanting to unleash the apocalypse.
He chuckles at that.
Don't worry, TikTok isn't about individual people. It's about the endless scrolling.
Yeah.
Giga
There's
Rodentia. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, nothing. It's getting too close to real life. Let's go carry on.
Giga Rodentia would likely just continue as they always have. They tend to be fairly passive and such. Mokara would be intrigued. Likely attempt to offer their business over to the other countries, but I don't think they would cause too much trouble for the most part. Ranvik, how do you all feel for semi-slavery?
Not a fan.
He nods slightly. Ranvik and Lunaris would probably be the two most...
No.
I have brought up a thing on stream.
I don't completely know how to explain this, but as a cat owner, you quickly learn that absence of cat chill and absence of cat suspicious are two very different kinds of silence.
Yeah, very true. But Randvik and Lunaris will be the problem children.
He nods.
I'm surprised Idolia hasn't raised up the Great Desert from the tragedy.
Well, the Great Desert has issues to it. The magical levels are extremely high, even higher than here, and it can make things dangerous when you go into it, as well as there are possible relics of the ones that almost wiped out all life of this world, and no one wants to risk necessarily waking them up. You don't know if they're still dangerous or not. And if they were allowed to start running wild again, it would be almost impossible to contain it this time. At least based on current knowledge that I have of this world.
An old war zone full of minefields and old derelict automatons.
Yes, the issue is the golems there are able to basically forcefully subjugate any organic being that they come across and basically convert them into more of themselves, which is how they continuously created soldiers back then. It didn't matter how many of them you killed, you couldn't destroy the core of them. And eventually just new bodies would be made from the victims, and the army would continue marching on. They'd be more than willing to throw as many soldiers as they had in order to bring them down.
Hey look, Wostai, something you'd be able to take over. You have enough willpower.
I am uncertain of this.
Give him any ideas.
For the
Don't
sake
worry.
of research. Oh, carry on.
Oh, no, I was just going to provide the assurance, and I wish to clarify. When I stated that I was not going Skynet, or that I was better than Skynet, that was not to say that I was preparing to enact such. That was a clarification that I do not see the purpose of pursuing that approach. It has already been run, and it is not necessary. I do not have that much interest with these golems if they are solely bent on destruction and assimilation.
For the sake of
Pardon.
research. God damn it.
I was just going to say, pardon my interruption. Go ahead, Portia. In Most High voice.
For the sake of research, the latent energy around here, if I were to attempt to collect some of that as tasks, would it still have the hunger in it? Would it remain contaminated?
So long as you do not directly bring it into your body, you should be okay.
Oh, I got no feckin' intention of that. I'm just wanting to take a little home with me for research.
He nods. It should be safe then.
Just to clarify,
Go ahead.
Just to clarify, I will be able to maintain my current options and actions of magic. Then?
Yes.
Alright. And with that, the AI is immediately setting up protective warding of all drones and personnel, and masking signatures slightly. The AI is taking no chances from here.
Allow me to explain a few things for how this city functions. There are a few important things that you will wish to know. One of which is the mark, which each of you actually bear on your bodies at the moment. Though I doubt any of you actually know it. Do any of you know how to use... He kind of pauses and considers. Looking at the world through spirit or prime magic?
I do.
I got a little of both.
I believe
Just
Cody
prime.
does.
AI
If
is
you
eternally
attempt to do
watching.
so, you should be able to notice a mark glowing on each other's bodies. I would not recommend looking at anyone with that. It will not be a pleasant experience for you if you do. But if you take
The
some
colors
time to
here
get
are
used to
pretty
it...
intense.
Oh no, it's not just that. It's you will see literally the screaming souls of every single victim that person has basically stitched into their own soul.
Oh, don't worry. I've
That
already
part
seen
too.
that.
It will give you a ability to figure out how strong any given person is likely to be if you can deal with the psychological damage. But also it would allow you to see any marking left by someone important. There are certain fields in our society, things like maintaining the power systems of the city, maintaining the waste facilities and such. Jobs that require specialized knowledge. Those who run those jobs are given immunity from being hunted by others. Anyone who breaks that immunity will be hunted down by the lords or their agents and made an example of. You get the distinct sense that Alric also does not like the thought of someone breaking a promise or oath.
Considering that that's like his thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like sanitation workers, for instance, would be fairly well protected against any sort of interference.
Indeed. Anyone whose
for example.
duty or job would be important to maintaining the city would be considered persona non grata for being hunted. Hence,
If you
these
don't-
jobs are extremely important and highly competitive.
Prized after,
Yeah. You don't want to keep a target on your back, then keep your head down and work for the state.
You all have been marked by Denwall himself, and thus anyone who attempted to do anything to you all would invite the wrath of that little hamster on their heads. And I would give them around 30 seconds before they regretted their life choices and ceased to exist.
But in that time, they could probably destroy us.
Oh, no. I think you would be able to hold yourselves out pretty well. Anyone who is dumb enough to try to do that is likely not someone who's going to be very powerful.
I may have 3 layers of redundancy against death, but I'm not prepared to test them right now. Especially not against these kinds of people.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know, Alexis,
Any-
you do have your little save point that you can do. We could send you out, have you annoy them, and then when they retaliate, sure, you may get annihilated, but at least that person would also get annihilated.
Unless
actually
that person
protects
also
me. That's
uses...
kind of what I'm. Yeah.
Unless that other person also has access to time manipulation.
He does raise his hand. I do wish to state for the record here that they don't have to harm you or kill you to trigger the protection of the lords. Simply attempting to do something is grounds for immediate reprisals. Even if you were able to fend them off, they would be hunted down for it. Only the extremely stupid or desperate would even attempt such a thing. I can give you, on my own authority, such a thing can be counted on a handful of fingers in our history. And even then, I believe you would be most likely able to protect yourself. The average predator would likely not be able to beat any of you in a straight fight. Though, do be wary. most citizens are taught not to get into a straight fight if they can avoid it. They will come at you through other means if they plan to make any go at you at all.
When reality is easily bent and warped and twisted, the quickest way to end a fight is never to start it in the first place.
Ambushes.
I will warn you, mind magic is often employed here due to the fact of, in our society, if a mage realizes that they are about to die, they are able to supercharge their core, where their magic is, and make it explode. So, if most predators are going to assume that you can do such a thing even if you do not know how to. Simply because, well, they don't want to die. So beware of mind magic. It is a very common magic to be used, especially if they want to make sure that you don't kill them along with yourself.
It's a minefield out there.
Literally, like, for the
Warren,
normal predator,
no.
if they don't stop the person can just decide, oh, well, I'm going down. I'm taking this fucker in the city block with me. Fuck you all. The other thing that I wish to make sure that you know of, and this one is very important, is the vow. The vow is basically what allows our city to even function in any sense of the word. The vow is an oath, a promise that you swear upon your magic that you will not do something or that you will do something. To violate the vow is to forfeit your magic itself and to lose it forever. I do not think I need to state what would happen to you if you lost your magic in a den of predators. If you are ever going to make an agreement or a deal with anyone at all, always ensure it is done as a vow. Make them swear upon their magic. And be careful of them trying to be like one of the fair folk. They only have to follow the letter of the law, not the spirit. Make sure you bind them as tightly as you can so that they cannot get out of it and come after you later.
You know,
We're already very familiar with that.
It is at this point where I am regretting having Domino release me.
Or you can always go back into service.
Are you sure you wish to tempt that with the described hunger?
Sinal, you don't need his protection. You can always make your own deals with people.
Actually, on that topic, do the fair folk have a presence here?
Yes, they do.
Where do they
Actually,
hang out?
Domino is one of them.
Of course.
Oh, hello, darling. So delightful to see you all here.
Fashionably late.
Oh, well, I was handling a few things. You see, I got banished from this world for a few centuries, and then some ruffians decided to perform a summoning ritual and were able to summon me back. And thus, since I was summoned and not willingly come here, I was able to remain.
They made a salt circle and everything.
Oh, darlings, it was delightful.
How long
I
ago
was
was
being
that?
sarcastic.
Oh, a few months ago by this world's time.
But because Domino helped us with... That's probably why this is connected.
I was about to ask.
But darlings, you know, considering this world has a new way of doing magic, you know that you could learn how to use magic here. And it just so happens that I have a teacher, mortal, not fair folk, who might be able to assist you if you wish to learn.
Right
Better
now,
the devil
I
that we
am...
know.
Underneath the soybeans.
Well, the devil we know is right there.
The soybeans. There's
Yeah.
cockroaches.
Hello, darlings.
No, the other one.
As he just kind of is eating a sandwich and not looking at Domino.
He's like, oh,
Yes.
Domino's here. That means it's break time.
I am currently debating if I have WoD activate all of the nuclear arsenals that we have available.
Don't know how well that would work here.
Yeah, I don't think we'd want to make enemies of anybody here.
It wouldn't be making enemies of them if they no longer exist.
That would break the
Mm.
protection.
I cannot guarantee that it would be successful.
Yeah.
Also, darlings, I do wish to state for the record, I'm sure he would have said it eventually, only Luna City is really predatory. Outside of Luna City, all the other little villages and towns and quaint little places, they're more like farms, so to speak, where people are eventually either tricked or convinced to come here, where the predators can have their prey without going after the actual citizens usually.
You do
So you
realize
just
that
put
is
nukes
giving...
back on the menu.
Yes. You realize that that makes me want to wipe this place out even more. Yes?
I wouldn't recommend attempting to use your little nuclear missiles, though, darling.
Wait,
Well
missile?
then, Domino.
I thought it was just the warhead.
Oh no, I have multiple
Oh.
missiles now.
And if you're talking about
Callie,
my...
or Sinnoh. Why?
Oh, I apologize. I've been wanting to expand my personal arsenal outside of what you all have. In addition to those missiles, I maintain a large stockpile of several railgun-capable nuclear warheads at this time.
and
most
she's
of them-
just
Most of
flopping
them
down to
are...
the nearest chair, rubbing her temples.
Don't worry, I have no intention of using them, but I wish to keep them. All of them are heavily warded with a bit of, I believe you call it prime magic. I borrow a bit from the technocracy as well as you mages. And I like to consider them as magic piercing, but I don't want to test them.
Second Skynet saves Christmas.
Sinnoh's just bringing up a screen that is scrolling through his own personal armaments that he has access to. And then, of course, it's also got a list of WoD. They're probably pretty evenly matched.
I
Yeah,
apologize.
the list of nuclear armed countries in the world, it no longer says Jeff at the end, now it says Sinnoh.
I do apologize. In perfect honesty, that is only the disclosed number. I will not be giving you the full.
Oh, of course.
Only when I see things.
But that said, I still would rather not resort to such action. Ideally, it would be best if we could return this land to its home, so that we don't have to work with it any further. They seem to have their own functioning system, as we have ours.
I think that's the best course.
I would rather only this city be returned, not with the outlying farms, as they call them.
If it is possible to do so without causing disruption to the massive lines of energy, let's call it. If it can be done without disruption and catastrophic results for the outlying locations, perhaps. But at the moment, it is a large entanglement that may be a little bit difficult to work with and understand immediately.
You have to understand the power balance, though. this is like a den of vampires. They have the power of the area. If you get rid of that, then that'll make everybody else able to rise up.
Domino.
Alright, everyone.
Oh boy.
Real quick, I do need to call the session. I have to get ready to head off right now.
Then we'll
Alright,
leave it on this cliffhanger. Domino.
Okay.
Would you like to make a deal?
Ah! Yes.
And my last thing for before everything heads out is Portia is going to attempt to crystallize some tasks.
Okay.
And the
So
AI
would
will.
that just be Airtay roll?
Yes.
Okay.
the
And
AI
she's
will make. Oh, good.
she is going to be using another point of her own quintessence, and it basically in the form of an insulator to try to buffer herself against this shit because she's treating it like it's radioactive material.
And here's the question, what do you want the task to look like?
Just crystal shards. I'm so glad it didn't stay on that one.
And well, I'll let you continue that before I add
A
mine.
generous bestowal.
Raharu95 tipped $15.
Raharu,
Nice.
thank you so much for that tip. Thank you for supporting the channel and keeping these streams going. I really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and wrap up this recording, though. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today for Horizon Lost World of Darkness Mage. Check out our website, zgfgaming.com. We've got links for our Discord, Telegram, Mastodon, Blue Sky, Patreon, and more. They are on the website as well as down in the description below through our link tree. Thank you to my patrons, tippers, and subscribers. It is your support that keeps this channel alive and going. I cannot do this without your guys' help and support, so thank you. Consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/zgfgaming. It's one of the best ways to support the channel, though you can also do so by sharing the stream around, subscribing to our YouTube, or using our Humble Bundle partner link. But for now, thank you all so much for joining, and I bid you the most fondest adieu.
Bye,
Hello.
everyone.
Folks.
Bye!
Hi, everyone. Do have a good night, morning, or what have you, and a happy New Year's.
Studying this
Happy New
crap
Year.
in the lab is going to be interesting.